My name is Olusanya. I work as an operation and product manager at Bet Jara, where I drive the product direction and growth. Prior to that, I worked at Zbet as a product manager. Thank you very much, Ose. Okay, Ose, please, you can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very, very much, Favor. Um, Let me just start sharing my screen. Okay, let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, good, good, good. All right, so I'll just start. Our topic for this evening is the efficacy of choice with regards to preparing your CV and job growth. I just want to start by saying, when it comes to how we progress in life, it all falls down to time and chance. And once that time and chance has come, are we ready with the choices we have made? With In terms of our career now, the first major step is trying to put yourself out there to the potential um, company or advert placement, and putting yourself out there in the sense you're presenting your CVs. And everything you put in your CV is ultimately a choice you have made. I want to, with so far with my experience, I want to share with you some keys. And I hope at the end of tonight you get a thing or two that, for those of you that are looking for a job, would help you to get that job or get the opportunity to get that job. And for others, you get something that will add as an added advantage in terms of your career growth and development. Now, the power of choice, just a minute. The power of choice in career development is what my next slide is about. And I think I would say, like I said earlier, your life is as a result of the choices you make. The choices you make in terms of what you put in your CV, how hard you work on your CV. And we need to start making better choices in terms of what we input in our CVs. We need to find ways to make our CVs more unique, make our CVs more catchy, and make our CVs send home a particular point. Hence, we don't just get called for an interview. Ultimately, we can defend what is in our CV and get the job role at the end of the day and begin our career path. Every career decision is a choice that impacts future opportunities. The strategic choice we make, like choosing to highlight some certain points in your CV, selecting experiences to emphasize, and deciding on what CV format to use. Um, you know, If you prepare your CV and the job you or the country you are trying to apply for is not a Nigerian company, it's an international company, and the format you use in preparing your CV is that which is acceptable by Nigeria, but not necessarily acceptable by, say, America, if that's where you're applying for. At the end of the day, for you to get shortlisted becomes difficult, even if you have the right ability. We need to be able to sell ourselves in a way that when that when the opportunity comes, we can maximize, we can take, we can we can we can enjoy, or we can get called for that opportunity. For example, let me use someone like Funke Akindele. We all know her. Despite her her popularity and the impact she has made in, would I say, the industry, anytime she has a new product or a new movie on when she has a new movie, you can see that the energy she puts in marketing that movie is like, if that movie doesn't sell, if people do not on board to that movie, it's like she has failed. You see her pushing all her effort, all her energy into that particular movie. The same thing we is what I'm trying to drive out. When you want to sell yourself, your CV, you need to sell your CV in such a way that once a potential employer picks your CV, he or she begins to see, number one, keywords. Have you tried highlighting keywords when presenting your CVs? Have you tried, while highlighting the keywords, actually putting an experience in or around those keywords? For example, if I'm writing a summary on my CV and I put I'm a product manager, I specialize in growth. When I joined my previous place of employment, they were only experiencing a 30% increment in terms of profit. When I joined them, they were able to move from 30% to 75%. And my previous working employment, where progress were not made in some certain aspects, I was able to draw out the data to show exactly why that growth or that progress was not showing, thereby leading to the business aligning their direction in terms of the data that I have drawn out, and thereby beginning to experience an exponential growth. And within the first 3 quarters, I was able to achieve a 60 to 65% growth. Once you put this as your summary with some keywords, automatically you have caught the attention of the prospective company looking to employ a product manager. And they begin to look, if you can drive this particular growth where you work, that means if you bring your expertise, you can also drive the growth here. But most times when we sell our CVs, we see that we do not want to take that time or take that extra effort to make sure that our CVs actually sells us. Most times we might go to Google or ChatGPT, draft up a summary or copy a summary, just do 1 or 2 editing and push it out there. But I want to encourage us. Now is the time to begin to take extra effort to improve your CV, and thereby improving the opportunity for you to get your expected or your desired job. Now, I need you to understand what employers are looking for. The first thing you need to know is you need to do is to research. Know your industry or know the industry you are intending to join and the job you are targeting. Tailor or customize your CV to match the job description and company culture. Also, use keywords that align with the job description for ATS, applicant tracking system optimization. Now, I'm going to explain this. I have seen CVs, I have seen where people present CVs and the CVs are completely different from the job role they are applying for. Most times people are they just use a generic CVs, send apply for jobs and begin to lament that I haven't got these jobs. And why is that? It is simple. It is because when you are one CV cannot be generic for all jobs. What job or what requirement is expected in the medical world might be very different from what is expected in the oil and gas. So you need to look for the keywords and add those keywords to your CVs. And also you need to know that you cannot use the same CVs to apply for different, hence you might not get those jobs. Hence you will find out that you're sending your CVs, but nobody is calling you. So I need you to take time, go through your CVs. For each role you're applying for, you need to look at the keywords, take those keywords and put them in your CVs. And also, when you are writing your CVs, make sure that your previous job role actually, one way or the other, can align and matches with the current job you are applying for. You can use keywords to achieve this. My next slide is choosing the right format, crafting a targeted CV. So for you to craft a target CV, there are some points I highlighted here. Number one is choosing the right format. Like I explained before, if you are applying for a job in the United States and you are using the same format you use in Nigeria, you might not necessarily get that job or even get the opportunity to sell yourself in terms of being invited for an interview. I have seen CVs where people are applying for a marketing role, and when you read their CVs, you see that their expertise is in customer service. I have seen people that are applying for the job of a product manager, but when you see their expertise, it might be that of sales. So when you are preparing your CVs, you need to ensure that your CV actually matches the current job you're applying for in terms of the requirements. You need to ensure that the order of your CV also is in the right order. What do I mean by that now? For example, I've worked in 3 industries. Let's say I've worked in oil and gas, I've worked in telecoms, and I've worked in oil and gas, telecoms, and let's say advertisement. Let's say the first job is the first, or my current role is in advertisement. My next role is in oil and gas. And when I left school, I was in telecoms. Now, the best way to arrange your CV is after you write your summary, or depending on how you arrange your CVs, your current role should be at the top. But I've seen situations where people, instead of their current role being at the top, it will be the first role where they started their careers. For example, like I said, I started my career in telecoms. So telecoms should be last in that order. But you find out that some people actually would put telecoms at the top. So at a glance, if anybody looks at your CV and say the current role you are applying for has to do with advertisement, but I'm seeing telecoms, I might feel that you are not coming, you are in another industry and you want to come into the industry, and probably we need an experienced person. I might not necessarily shortlist you because I might not go through the stress of looking at your dates, because once I see a CV, I expect the current job the person is doing to be on top. So you have to be careful with your CVs. This little point may be some of the reasons why some people have not been called for interviews, why some people have missed that opportunity. You need to highlight, like I mentioned before, highlight skills suitable for your career. And if you are looking for a career change, you need to highlight skills that, okay, based on my experience, I have gained this knowledge and I'm able to deliver this to you. Better still, blend both ideas for experienced professionals. Once you are experienced, you can blend the both. That is, when your expertise have all the necessary experience that is needed on your current job role, you can add the two together and present it on your CVs. Also, another thing I can tell you is, have you tried when submitting your CVs to add a product tear down to your CV? For example, now say I'm going for the role of the product manager at say a pharmaceutical company, and I write a brief for them that I'm going to drive a certain level of growth and optimization on their current app. And not just that, I now do a product tear down, showing them where their product is failing, where needs to be optimized, checking from as little as the favicon to the click response time, to how long my session or a customer session time is, and also to how they can market and best advertise themselves as a product, and attach that to my CV. Trust me, once you do that, that might just be your secret selling source to getting that job you are looking for. Deciding what to include. You can include your relevant experience, but focus on jobs and roles that are most relevant to the target job. Your key achievements, qualifiable results that demonstrates impact. Those are what you have achieved where you were. And skill selections, that's your hard and soft skills that align with the job requirement. Whatever skills you have got, you can add it also to your CVs. And also, when you are going for an interview, you can also take this, if you have a certificate, like I remember when I was applying for ZBet as a product manager, I actually, when I was speaking to my GM, I actually presented my certificate from Enova and showed her that yes, I actually have done a training. And this boosted the opportunity for me, because there were a lot of people that were presenting themselves, but number one, they did not have the training. Number two, they might have the experience, but tentatively was not what they were looking for, in terms of their experience was not in the sport betting line. So when you have all this, you can add them together and present them. Before you know, you might have struck a chord that would actually make them call you for the next stage. And once they call you from the next stage, you can actually seal the deal, especially if you can sell yourself very, very well. So making strategic choices about content. Choose experiences that aligns with the job core competence. Use the STAR method. Then also, when it comes to your skills, highlight transferable skills that showcase versatility. Choose a mix of technical skills and interpersonal soft skills. And like I said before, your education and certification. Prioritize relevant education and certifications that add value. What we want to achieve is when you are invited for an interview, you can actually defend the content. Because if you have presented your CV very well, if you have done a product tear down, can you actually defend what you have done? If they ask you, okay, how are you going to drive this increase? Are you able to tell them exactly how you are going to drive the increase? Or you are going to be left hanging? These are the questions we need to answer. So some of the ways we can actually answer these questions is by ensuring we have digested our CVs and using the STAR method, like I said earlier: situation, task, action, and result. Like I said before, when you are doing this, you can also go with your product. You can also go with your product tear down to show that you know what you're doing, and you can also market yourself and tell them how you're going to accomplish the growth which you have said. Our next slide is aligning your CV choices with your career goals. Let there be clarity in your career direction. Make sure your CV reflects where you want to go, not just where you have been. You have to be Your CV has to carry a growth-oriented content, demonstrating progress in your roles and responsibility, showcasing a learning mindset through continuous improvement, courses, or certification. Highlight leadership and initiatives, choosing example that reflects leadership, problem solving, and innovations. Now, what I'm saying here is this, and I'm going to give you a summary. Your CV, you need to prepare your CV in such a way it shows that you are here. Once you are given that opportunity, you're not just looking for the opportunity to grow and to another business, but you try to sell yourself in such a way that they understand that you have come here to stay. This is where you want to start your career growth, and if possible, this is where you want to end your career. That is what you want to sell to the prospective employer. You want them to know that where I have worked before, I was also able to grow. Maybe you started as someone as a junior product manager, and you were able to grow to a senior product manager or a product manager, or you came in as an intern and you were able to grow and showcase a learning mindset, also that you are also ready to learn. And if you are called on for the position for a leadership position, it's something that you are also capable of doing. All these things, one way or the other, has to show in your CV. I remember one of my colleagues who got a job. He got a job in the UK, or rather he got an interview, almost got the job. But the reason why they didn't pick him was When you look at the trajectory of his jobs, he has been working in the marketing line, and nothing actually showcased him as having an expertise as a project manager. The role he was going for was that of a project manager. So also his school credentials, his school certification also did not show that he is a project manager. I think he was into agriculture. He has gotten, I think, a PhD, but nothing showing that he was a project manager. So because of this, the fact that his CV and his career path did not align with the current job he was pursuing, he actually lost that opportunity and he got to the final stage. And it was a very painful one for him because he was really interested in that job, and I think the take-home pay too was really really a large one. So my next slide is the role of personal branding. Now, when you are branding yourself, you have to ensure, like I gave you the example of my colleague, you have to ensure that when you are selling yourself, whether it be LinkedIn or it be on any community or even on your Instagram or social media page, what you are selling is a projection or a reflection of yourself. For example, you cannot have yourself in on LinkedIn as a product manager, and probably on your CV you are having yourself as a marketing manager. If you are applying for the role of a product manager and you submit your CV to me, which is having that of a marketing manager, I obviously will not call you for that role. And also vis-a-vis. So if I check your CV and see it doesn't align with what is on your LinkedIn, I will not call you. And we know most times with your full name, you can actually run a search and actually see, you can run a search and actually see the profile of anybody just with the person's name on LinkedIn. So we need to ensure that our CVs align with the roles we are looking for, and our LinkedIn, our CVs, and whatever we are selling all aligns. If you know your career trajectory is that of product management, ensure that everything that works with you is that of product management. Everything you pursue is that of product management. If you know you are going for another role, ensure that what you're doing is that of that role and your current function is actually that of that role. For product management, if you haven't actually practiced as a product manager or you don't have the experience, what you can do is you can do a series of product tear down, have those documentation, and you can use it as part of your um, portfolio. Also, if you can get an internship, you can also do that and add that and make it as part of your portfolio. So the main thing is that your current role must showcase that you have the ability to do that job, whatever the role is. You have that ability to do that job, and not just to do that job, you have the ability to deliver, because your brand is what people say about you when you are not even in the room. So if you have finished an interview, you've defended yourself and you have left, whatever you left is whatever you say and whatever you left on ground is what the panel will discuss about, and that is what will give you the opportunity to get that job, or they don't call. So you need to create a strong personal summary that reflects your strategic choices. I think I explained that a bit at the introduction. So ensure your summary actually tells a story and have some key points. You understand? We must always, as a person, you must know your secret source. You must know what your anchor beam is. You must know that thing that sells for you. What probably most people do not have, or what you have mastered, and there are just a few people that have mastered that particular skills, and you use it as your major selling point. So preparing for job growth opportunities, we need to take time to regularly update our CVs, reflecting our achievements, recent achievements and skills. For example, if probably you are awarded, um you are given a recognition where you work as probably the employee of the month, always take time to update your CVs. Add these accolades to your CVs because it tells a lot about your character. It tells a lot about your person. We also need to work on our networking choices, engage with community and professional, align that with professionals that align with your career path. We need to engage like our current community. We need to engage with ourselves and see. Most times you find out that the people you grow with are most likely the people that will be there for you when you are down to pull you up. And when they are down, you are most likely the person that will be there to also pull them up. We can never undervalue networking. You never can tell if the person you are speaking to, the person that you're seeking advice with, the person that you're always saying hello to, is the person that will give you your next big break, is the person that will give you your next big opportunity. So do not let go of networking. Always ensure you network. Always ensure you keep relationships. People you had classes with, people you did exams with, people you did projects with. Always ensure that you keep, at least keep in touch, no matter how it may not be as frequently as you can, but ensure that you keep in touch because you never can say this person might be the person to give you your next big break. Also, um do not relax in terms of professional development. Always find a way to improve yourself. Always make sure that the you increase, you improve yourself. Always ensure in a year the minimum you do or the minimum certification you get is one. You must always ensure you're getting certification. You must always ensure that you are increasing. Go for workshops, go for seminars, add value. Because once you are increasing yourself, you are increasing your mindset, you are increasing your opportunities. And you never can tell where when what you have is no longer relevant. For example, now, if you are a fresh graduate, you're just like every other person. Now, I think owning a master's degree is the next big thing because there are so many graduates out there. And even with a master's, you might not be good enough without a certification. So always ensure you are increasing. I think now there's a course on AI in product management. The whole world is shifting towards AI. What are we doing? We need to always improve. We need to always increase. In conclusion, make deliberate choices in your CV preparation, which is crucial for job growth. Each option should reflect your career goals and the values you bring to your potential employers. Thank you very much. Do we have questions?
Well, thank you very much for that, Ose. That was a very, very impactful session. Yes, please, if you have questions, then our questions coming. Yeah. Please, if you have questions, let's simplify by raising our hands.
Okay, I think there are a couple of questions. Okay, let me start with Rukayat Damilola.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Hi,
Thank you.
Rukayat. Good evening.
Yeah, thank you for the session. Really appreciate that. Okay, my question is for someone like me that I'm just starting in product management and I just got an internship. And from what I heard that you are not to put too much information on your CV, like what you are doing at your current role, like having to put a full story of what you are doing on your CV in a situation whereby your CV don't have to be more than 2 pages. How do I want to like put the whole achievements, your responsibility and all in the CV?
Okay, okay, that's a good question. So, in a situation where your CV, you're trying to ensure that it doesn't pass a single page, what you can do is you could, for example, now I have worked in I think about 4 organizations. I could remove the last 2 places, my last 2 experiences, in order to create more to ensure that the space available can accommodate more information. That's one. Two, what you can do is you can also do something like a mini draft to support your your CV. For example, you can do a product tear down and attach your summary to that product tear down and submit it to the company which you are applying for. Um, for example, say I want to apply to say let me see, let's say a telecoms or a fintech. Now I can just write my experience. I can write my summary and what I hope to achieve for them. They now prepare a product tear down on their current product, um, emphasizing on where the product needs improvement and what innovations I would use to bring about those improvements. I can also add about new ideas that I think they might have not picked up on. You understand? Basically, what we are trying to do is actually to sell ourselves. So your CV alone might not sell you, but if you add something else, the potential employer might take out time, or the potential recruiter might take out time to read those things and actually want to give you a listening ear. So what I advise is, for example, most times they might tell you to send an email. You can just attach a brief summary or a brief explanation of the product teardown and data emphasizing that product teardown. What I also advise people to do is to do a website diagnosis also. So there are ways to check like the loading time of a website, the speed of a website, the session login time of a website. So when you check all these things, most times people do not check these things. Hence, the site might be slow. And you already bringing their attention to that might just show that you haven't got the job yet. You are showing them lapses. Once you come in, there's definitely a lot more you would have to offer. There are a lot more you're going to see. and there are a lot more changes you will bring. So presenting that is already giving you an edge above other people. I hope that answers your question, Rukayat.
Okay, yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. Um. Okay. Ayomide Thompson. Hi. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening. Sorry, Ayomide.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of question. Sorry.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I am. So if you're in a situation, let's say you've been applying for jobs, you've been getting interviews, like you've been getting a lot of interviews, and let's take for instance now you are like you're very, 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 very you're very, 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 very confident that
Mm,
your CV is good, your CV is great, your interviews, they're like you did well, and that like you're 100% confident that, oh, I'm supposed to have gotten this job. Like you know that you've been doing series of interviews and
mm-hmm.
you are not getting that major breakthrough. You understand?
Okay.
And I know sometimes you might feel very, very discouraged because apparently now um job now is more of a networking.
True.
So if there are instances that you feel that way, like I don't know, what can you like encourage? Like how
Okay.
would you go about it? In order not to like just get tired that I'm not applying for any job again, I beg. I don't tire.
Okay. So you're getting the interviews, but you're not getting the jobs.
Yes, like getting series of interviews, close to like salary negotiation, and you're very, very optimistic that, oh, the next thing I will get now is my offer letter, but
Mm,
nothing is coming.
okay. So sometimes it may be because I've handled a lot of job interviews. Sometimes we might tend to pursue the potential employer based on some of the things we say. To us, we might think, I've delivered, but to them, you might have not, you might have said more than needed and might have said what might have put them off. Okay, for example, if I'm an employer and the salary scale for the role is tentatively 350,000 naira, and I call you and you tell me that, um, I mean, as an employer, my budget is 350,000 naira, but I call you and you sold yourself. I'm seriously interested. And you now tell me that you want to collect between 800 to 1.5 million. Obviously, I would not send you an offer letter. Or I might just go the extra mile of what is the least you collect. You understand? If you don't go for that role. I mean, if what's the least you collect if we are to send you an offer? You might say, I might not go for less than half a million, which maybe deep down you might, but you don't want to undersell yourself. But tentatively, the employer might just say, I think this person is beyond us. They might look for the next available person. I think this person might not be as good as her, but can actually give us all what we are looking for. Another thing may be that that thing may be like maybe when you are explaining yourself or when you are selling yourself, you have said something you shouldn't say. For example, I might ask you, why are you leaving your previous place of employment? And you might not give me a reason that I'm comfortable with. I might think that you are someone that you are just looking for companies to jump from one company to the other just to increase your salary. And after maybe 1 or 2 years again, you go for the next big thing and you leave me high and dry. That may be another reason. Another reason may be maybe I ask a question. I may ask you about your hobbies. You might tell me sleeping and eating. So you might have sold yourself well, but the things you are selling, or your what's the word now, uh the way you have sold yourself, you might have said more than necessary or more than needed. So one thing I would say is, when selling yourself, ensure that you actually put a balance with some of the things the employer is asking of you in terms of your personal traits, in terms of your take home income, in terms of seeing how long you want to spend in the business while you left your previous place of employment. For example, now I'm in an interview. Someone asks me, okay, or say, okay, should, in case we grant you the offer, how much do you think you would want? What's the minimum you collect, or what's the minimum we should offer you? I can say, okay, I know the role, the scale of the job, or the budget usually for the role or the scale is between 350,000 to 1.5 million. I wouldn't mind somewhere in the middle. They'll say, like, where? I know you have a budget. Just present the offer letter to me, then we can discuss. I will not try and peg an amount. Alternatively, I'll ask them, okay, what is your budget on the role? I hope I'm not overstepping by asking you that, but I really don't know how much to place. You understand? So that's the way I would answer that question. I'll tell you, probably between this is what, that's what I want to, somewhere in the middle is what I would like to collect. Then when the offer letter comes, I can now pick it up from there. If they're asking me for why I left my previous place of employment, I would not say I have issues with maybe my boss. I will not say that there's no opportunity for career growth. I would say, probably if it's a different industry, I would say probably I want to try out a new industry. I want to try out a new industry. I feel maybe telecoms is more into my forte, or I think oil and gas. I can see the industry blooming, and telecoms, I'm not really sure of the way the industry is, and there are a lot of regulations and all that. So I might not want to necessarily stay in telecoms. That's why I'm thinking of the oil and gas sector. So my point is this: when you are responding, especially questions that involve your previous place of employment, your character, and the amount you want to collect or you want to receive, you have to be very careful when answering those questions, so that it doesn't sound as a turn off to um your where your prospective company, or where you wish to work, as the case may be. Ayomide, I hope that answers your question a bit.
Yes, it did. It does, but there's something else again that I know about this selling yourself. Like, sometimes you don't have to undersell, and sometimes you don't have to oversell. Do you understand? And
Yes.
there are times that you might undersell yourself, and people and the company will be like, "Ah, how can this person see this kind of salary range? I'm not sure she's competent enough." So I just feel like the hiring, I mean the recruitment team, most times we don't know what they actually want, because I feel like interview should be very, very, very like, okay, this is what I want. Do you get? Because there are some instances that you might undersell yourself, and they might take it that you're not worthy of it. Ah, how can she be saying this kind of salary range? I'm not sure she's that good. And you might oversell yourself, and they might be like, ah, we don't think we can afford this. So most times it's always very, very difficult to know what recruiters really, really want. But I think I've been able to like learn one or two. I've been able to like pick one or two things from what you said. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me just give you a scenario. There is a former colleague of mine. She went into data science. She got a job from Airtel. I'm sorry, she was called for an interview for Airtel. And they asked her that, how much do you want to collect? And I think she said 150,000. And immediately she got an offer letter with 150,000, stating other benefits. Don't worry, there's a staff boss, there's I don't know what the other benefits is. I had the staff box and all that, but tentatively she has undersold herself. But my point is this: try as much as possible not to put a peg on the amount. I know if you oversell yourself, you pursue most employers. That's why I said always let them know. Even if the range is between 100,000 to 1 million, just put it there and tell them somewhere in the middle. But if they now insist the minimum, you can ask them for the budget or what their budget is for that particular role. If they don't tell you, then try to put a balance. If you know that, okay, if you don't have information about that company, but you know, yes, most times they pay maybe 350,000, you can tell them, okay, I wouldn't mind probably 400 or 450 or anywhere within that range. You understand? So you are giving them something to work with. You understand? But that's if they insist. But most times, most of the interviews I've gone for, when I tell them anywhere within this range, most times it's case closed for the amount part. It's case closed for the amount part. All right. Are there any other questions? Thank you, Rukaya. Thank you, Ayomide, for your questions. Are there any other questions? Okay. I think
Okay.
in the absence of none, I'll hand over to Favor. Thank you
All
very
right.
much, Favor. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. And thank you very much, Ose. This was a very, very good session, and I was able to gain a lot. I'm sure lots of people to have gained. Okay, I think we have one more person. Good time, Emian. So please, you can go ahead to speak. Good
No,
time.
no, no,
Okay.
no, no. It was a mistake. I wanted to clap.
Okay.
I wanted to clap. It was a mistake.
Oh, oh, oh. All right. Okay. All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on today's product session. And thank you once again, Ose, for joining us and for sharing with us this loads of information. All right. So I think this is the point where we say good night. And I hope we all enjoy the rest of the weekend. So it was nice meeting everybody.
Thank you
Good
very much.
night.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.